Just when you think you've seen it all, a company comes out with a very interesting e-bike design. Not only does this look different, it is built different to give you some extra storage capabilities right here and right here. Now HiKeep calls this their cargo bike, but usually with cargo bikes we see an extended rear so that you can fit a long rack back there. This bike doesn't come with a rack, but there is still some storage options. So if cargo bikes are the minivans in the e-bike world, does that make this the hatchback of the e-bike world? Maybe. What is going on, my beautiful raspy riders? Today we are going to be taking a look at the HiKeep Me-L Cargo. We're going to be going over the specs, taking it for a test ride, and talk about the good and the bad. But before we do all that, we got to jump to the unboxing. Welcome to the HiKeep Me-L unboxing. I don't know why it says Hello Keep on here or Hilo Keep, because our bike is called the HiKeep. But I mean, it's close enough, right? Hilo, hello, hello keep, hi and hello is the same thing. Close enough. If you guys are new to unboxing e-bikes, this is my favorite way to do it. Open sesame. Let's take a look at our packaging. This is pretty decent. This was right here before it fell down. Protected the side of the bike. I would give this a passing score for packaging. We can see we have a box of goodies right here. What is this? That's pretty cool. We haven't gotten one of these with our bikes yet. I don't think I'll use it, but it's nice that it came with it. Pedals and our headlight. Ooh, I've never seen anything like this before. You know what this low-key reminds me of? One of those ring lights that people use to put on their makeup. Like a lot of beauty influencers use it. Maybe I could shine this on my face to make myself look beautiful. Got a little tool bag, our user manual, and the charger. This charger will charge our battery all the way up to 54.6 volts, and it is a 2 amp charger. Our battery pack is 15.6 amp hours. Divide that by 2. It should take around 7.8 hours to charge from 0 to full. Now we got to get through all of this to get to our battery and get this thing charging. Oh, there's another zip tie. That actually looks like a decent sized battery pack for being 15 amp hours. Where's our keys? Keys. Usually on the handlebars. Oh, it's right here. It's not on our handlebars, it's on the forks. Does it give us any specs? It says 48 volts, 15.6 amp hours. 748.8 watt hours. I haven't even had the chance to take a good look at this frame yet, but I really like this little basket right here. This thing is cool. It's not a huge space, but at the same time, you can fit a good amount of stuff in here. We'll talk more about the little details later. I just want to get this thing assembled right now because I am excited. Ooh, I love a black and brown combo. It looks so good. That's a sexy cafe racer type of seat. Oh, this bike's pretty heavy. I think it's like 76 pounds. This is going to be our axle. Looks like everything's equal on both sides, so it's going to be relatively easy to put on. Sometimes it gets a little tricky when one side has a spacer and one doesn't, or one of the spacers is longer than the other. But everything's equal on this one. That's what I like to see. First thing that goes in there is our torque washer, then a regular washer, and then our nut. And the same thing on the other side. You hear that? That is the rotor rubbing on the brake pads. It's never ever really perfect, is it? Just gotta loosen these bolts up and align it. Look between the brake pads and make sure there's even space on either side. And then I tighten it slowly. Aw, yeah. Like music to my ears. Even though we hear nothing. which is what we want. Now that the front wheel is on, this bike looks pretty dang cool. I've never had a bike that quite looked like this. It's very unique. It's got a really interesting storage area, this bag right here. I think the only thing I have to do left is put the headlight on, the pedals, and the front fender. And that's it. So I'm going to quickly assemble the rest, and I'm going to catch you guys back at the review. Alright, welcome back guys. Let's go over the specs before we take this thing out on a ride. Coming down low, we got 160mm rotors front and rear paired with cable brakes. Now at this price point where it's slightly above $1,000, I would expect 180mm rotors paired with hydraulic brakes, especially because this is a steel frame and it's a bit heavier, coming in at 76 pounds. But we're going to be testing out the brakes later and see how they perform. On our wheels, we have some 20x4-inch fat tires from Chaoyang. On our wheels, we do have some 20x4-inch fat tires by Chaoyang. I do love me some fat tires. They're going to help us absorb some of the bumps on the road. We have plastic fenders in the front and in the rear. And above that, we have a very unique headlight. I love the way this thing looks. Unfortunately, there is no daytime running light. It's just on and off. So when you turn on the light, the bulb does turn on and the ring around it. This is what the headlight looks like in my garage without any lights on. And it is very bright. I am really impressed. And the halo ring around it just looks so sick. We got front suspension forks along with an adjustable knob right here for compression. This is what the front forks look like. I think we're seeing about an inch of travel. Coming up on our handlebars, we got some rubber grips that are going to be the ergonomical type where you can rest your palms. We also got our cable brake levers and they feel like cable brakes. We have our switch to turn on our headlights and the turn signals and a horn button. We also have our keypad to go through our speed levels. Over here we have I. I'm assuming that stands for information. That's going to toggle us between our trip and our odometer. Our display does look pretty nice. It gives us all the information we need. It currently shows 5 out of 5 battery bars, shows the miles per hour, the pedal assist modes, and your trip and odometer. On the right side we have our standard 7-speed Shimano shifter and our half twist throttle that's attached to a key switch. Coming down to the frame, we have our UL certified battery. This is going to be a 48 volt 15.6 amp hour pack. The website listing says you're going to be able to get anywhere from 35 to 82 miles of range. My prediction is if we only use the throttle, we'll get anywhere from 20 to 30 miles of range. And of course, more range if we use the pedal assist. Right next to our battery, we have a little basket and it is removable with these 2 bolts. But I don't know why you would want to remove it because this basket is probably what makes this bike special. It's going to be super useful throwing things into here. You can put your lunch, some drinks, whatever you want. It's not huge, but it's not small either. This would come very handy if you wanted to throw a water bottle in here or maybe your lock. It could fit a big chain lock too. And because it's in the center of the frame, it's going to help balance the bike out as opposed to having a rack in the rear. Below our seat, we're going to have another storage option. At first, when I saw pictures of this bike, I thought this was a second battery, which would have been cool, but it's actually just a storage bag. We can take it out. We just got to remove the straps. Like, look at all this space down here. Think about all the possibilities you can do with this. If you wanted to put an extra battery, you can. That would help extend your range. Or if you just wanted to use this bag and put maybe your jacket or something in here. There's a good amount of space. It reaches my elbow. Yeah, you can put your windbreaker in here, some food, whatever you want. I like the idea of having an extra battery in here. That would be perfect. Above that storage area, we're gonna have a nice brown seat that looks inspired from a cafe racer. It's pretty firm when you feel it with your hands, but when you're sitting on it, it doesn't feel too bad at all. And it just looks beautiful to give this bike a pop of color since we do have a black frame. Now coming down here, we do have dual rear shocks. When I sat on this bike, it almost felt like I was on a hardtail. I hardly feel it moving. It feels like they're using 1,000-pound shocks. These things are so stiff. I'm 170 pounds, so maybe someone that's like 300 could feel it. But to me, these almost feel non-existent. Over here, we're gonna have our tail light, and the design looks so funny to me. It kind of looks like a mouth. Like these would be the lips, and then the teeth. What an interesting design. This does include turn signals, and they work pretty well. Here's what the light looks like in the dark in my garage. The tail light also looks really bright. Let's see what it looks like when we hit the brakes. Yeah, I'm super happy with this light setup. I'm very impressed. Coming over to this side, we're gonna have our derailleur guard protecting our derailleur and our 7-speed freewheel. In case you did want to pedal and change gears, you can use your shifter to help you pedal much more easily. With these types of e-bikes though, I never find myself pedaling really. I just always use the throttle anyways. Now last but not least, we're gonna have our 750 watt geared hub motor. It's gonna peak at 1,500 watts. But if you go to their website, they do have a dual motor version of this bike, and that's gonna be able to push out a peak of 3,000 watts. So if you live in a super hilly area, the dual motor version of this bike might be the option for you. The recommended rider height is gonna be from 5'6" to 6'3". It is a pretty tall bike. I'm 5'6", and I'm gonna be on my tippy toes. I can do the one-legged lean, and that's gonna help a lot. All right guys, that's gonna be it for the specs. Let's take this thing out on the road to see how it really performs. Oh wait, I totally forgot. This bike does come locked. Let me go in the shade real quick so you guys can see the display. And I just want to show you what the top speed is without any load. Okay, we're in the highest pedal assist level. I'm going to tilt the bike over, put the rear wheel up, and we are getting a max speed of 20 miles per hour. So I guess what we need to do is hold down the throttle, pull in the brake lever, turn the key, and turn the bike on and wait 20 seconds. So I'm just gonna count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Okay, let's go back up to level 5 and see if there's any difference. Oh yeah! Look at that, 33.5 miles per hour. Now we're ready to ride. All right, we are outside on the HiKeep Me-L Cargo. This thing's got some decent pickup and go. For commuting purposes, this has solid power. But if you live in an area with a ton of hills, you might want to look into the dual motor version of this bike. I'm currently on pedal assist level 1, and we're reaching 12 miles per hour. The display is matching up evenly with my phone's GPS. Let's see if we just use the throttle only. Yep, still 12 miles per hour. So it looks like the throttle is gonna correlate perfectly to the pedal assist. Level 2, we're seeing 17 miles per hour. And the throttle and the pedal assist are still the same. So now that we know the pedal assist numbers are the same as the throttle, I'm not even gonna pedal. Let's just use throttle only. Level 3 is taking us to 22 miles per hour. Let's switch to level 4. We're climbing, 26. And looks like we're staying at 26 miles per hour. I'm gonna wait until we get to the big road and then I'll test out level 5. Okay, level 5, here we go. Come on, climb, baby, climb. 29 on the display, 30 on the display, 30 on GPS. Let's go. 31. Beautiful. What if I tuck a little bit? No, looks like we're staying at 31. For a bike that's just over $1,000, 30 miles per hour is actually pretty decent. That is a solid top speed. I'm happy with it. We're gonna turn left right here, and we're gonna go into the mall to do our brake test. The handling of this bike, it feels pretty good, but I feel really high up. This bike is just tall, especially because of that extra storage space underneath that seat. All right guys, here's the name of the game. There is a silver Prius here to my left, and right when we get to here, I'm gonna hit the brakes and see how many car spaces it takes to come to a complete stop. Seems like the average is gonna be around 4 car spaces, and that's going at about 25 miles per hour. Okay, here we go. The HiKeep Me-L brake test. That's 25 and brake. Okay. We did not lock up those tires. Interesting. It took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are in between space 5 and 6. Okay, let's go over a speed bump right now and see if we can make those rear shocks compress. Oh! I think they compressed a tiny bit, but it felt like I was on a pogo stick. It just bounced up and down. The front forks though, they feel great. We need to do some more off-road testing, so we're gonna go to the park and ride on the grass. Man, I need to start doing these reviews earlier. It's only 9:51, but the sun is on my neck and it is burning me. It feels nice when you ride though, especially at 30 miles per hour. You get that cold air in your face. Come on, light turn green. I need to feel that cold air. Here we go. Another speed run. Keep pulling, baby. Keep pulling. Yeah, buddy. 30 miles per hour. Woo! Oh, the wind feels so good. I had to run home really quickly because I forgot my selfie stick. Look how convenient this basket is. Bam! Selfie stick secured. Let's jump up this slope right here. Oh! Oh, man! The fat tires eats up the bumps, but these shocks, the rear shocks are just so stiff. The front feels amazing though. Like if I stand up and bounce on the pedals, I could feel the movements of the front forks, but not the rear. There's gonna be a more bumpy area right here. The roots from the trees are coming up from the ground. Makes for an excellent suspension test. Wow, that was scary with one hand. Okay, I'm gonna go back to 2 hands. That means selfie time is over. Back in the storage area you go. So handy, so useful. Imagine all the times where you had to carry something and you had to use a backpack, and sometimes backpack on a hot day means sweaty back, and no one wants a sweaty back. So having extra storage space on your bike is so convenient. And I haven't even used the storage underneath my seat yet either. There's so much possibilities. Let's take a picture with this nice tree. Dang, that's a cool picture. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap up this video here, but before I do, we gotta talk about the pros and the cons of this bike. For the price point, I think this bike is actually a pretty great option for those that want a moped style looking bike with extra storage capabilities. But there are some flaws about this bike because no bike is perfect. And it's my job to talk about the good and the bad. So let's start with the cons. Now there's only 2 cons to me, and you guys probably know what I'm gonna say already. But the first con is gonna be the suspension on the back. I'm happy that they did come with rear suspension because that gives you opportunity to change this out if you wanted to. But the springs they put on here, man, they're so stiff. It really does make this bike feel like a hardtail. I should try to find someone that's like 300 pounds and see if it's more comfortable for them. But for me, being at 170, I can't feel those move at all. Even when I go over a big speed bump, I barely feel it compress. But like I said, I like that it's there because it gives you options to change it out if you want. That is going to be way better than having a true hardtail, because then you have no ability to to add different springs. The second and final con to this bike is going to be the brakes. I could live with cable brakes. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some cable brakes out there that are pretty good, but having 160 millimeter rotors for a bike that's like 76 pounds, I don't know about that, man. This bike is just going to be way too heavy for such small rotors, especially because it's pretty fast. But anyways, enough with the cons, let's go on to the pros. Pretty much everything else besides what I talked about with the cons is going to be a pro with this bike. I love the headlight. It is just different compared to every other bike I see. It's round, big, and just super bright. And it looks different. I love it. The front forks feel solid, and the display is easy to see even during the daytime. One of the last bikes I reviewed, that display was hideous. Probably the worst display I've seen, and it was just so hard to see during the daytime. But this display is actually really nice. The seat also looks pretty dang sexy. They took that out of a playbook from Cafe Racers. I'm okay with that because it looks so nice. The brown and black is just always a great combination. It just looks so classic and timeless, just so nice. Now, my favorite thing about this bike is gonna be the storage options. I get so tired of having to wear a backpack. Even with some of my modified bikes, I don't have any storage options. So having this is really nice. If you go on a longer ride, you can put a charger in here and still fit a bunch of other stuff. And don't forget, you still have this option too. Having those two places for your storage is gonna come in clutch. You don't even know it until you need it. There's gonna be times where you have to carry something and you're gonna wish you had something like this. How do I know? Because I've gone through those times. Between commuting, group rides, and using my bikes for food deliveries, I put in a ton of miles on every bike. So take my word for it. Storage is always a good thing. So if you guys are interested in the HiKeep Me-L Cargo, please check out that link in the description. I'm also gonna have a discount code in there for you too. So clicking that link and using that discount code is gonna help you and I both. It'll help support this channel so I can keep doing this review, and I will greatly appreciate it. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.